Well, it's good to have everybody here tonight. It's good to be back. Good to see some familiar faces and some new faces with us. We're going to do a thing tonight on cobblers, and we're going to do 2 or 3 cobblers. I've already got some made. I want to go ahead and show you what we're going to be doing before we get started, because a lot of these take 50 minutes to an hour and a half to cook. This is a chocolate cobbler. The recipe that you have calls for a standard chocolate cobbler. It does not have the chocolate chips on it, and it does not have the pecans on it. I went ahead and made one with a little bit of white chocolate chips on it, morsels, and some pecans, crushed pecans. So we're going to be doing that one tonight and showing you how to prepare that. You could do a Rocky Road cobbler. All you'd have to do to that is add you some marshmallows, and you would have a Rocky Road cobbler. You could do fruit with your chocolate cobbler. Cherries with that chocolate cobbler would be really, really good. So you could add you some cherries to that and make that. Another one we're going to be doing is a mixed berry cobbler. And that's what this one is. You can look at your recipe, and there's the recipe for the easy fruit cobbler is what this one is. And you can see the recipe for the actual cobbler batter. A lot of you may think that looks very familiar. It is. It's an old recipe. There was a movie. Anybody can tell me what movie this recipe I'm getting ready to give you come from? You win the prize for the night. It's a cobbler batter, and it called for a cup. Anybody know that movie? What was it? Anybody know? What was it? Steel Magnolia. She won the prize tonight. She didn't know what the prize was, and none of you did either, or you might have spoke up. There you go. That is a mixed berry cobbler. Now I have to make one of those, don't I? Because I done give the old one away. And the other one that we're going to be doing tonight that you have the recipe for is a new recipe for me. And I'll tell you what, I made it the other night when I found out I was going to be doing this class, and we about called class off tonight so we could stay and eat this without sharing with you all. This is a peach cobbler, but it has cream cheese in it, and it is a really, really good cobbler. It's just something about when it come out of the oven. And these that I have here that we're going to sample a little bit of too, these were freshly cooked today, but they have cooled down some. So when you're eating them, I recommend them hot with ice cream or with whipped cream or with Cool Whip. And we have some whipped cream we're going to use tonight for safety's sake and mess sake. We was afraid to really try the ice cream. The other one I want to show you, and I'm going to talk about this one before we get started, is a peach and blueberry cobbler. Now, you all don't have a recipe for this one, but I'm going to show you that you can do low sugar. This recipe only has 1/4 cup of sugar in the whole recipe. Okay, and there's no Splenda. There is no stevia. There's no artificial sweeteners at all in this. And it is peach and blueberry. And it is, as you can see, most of the peaches get hid from the blueberries when you cook. This is a fresh fruit cobbler also. The peach cobbler that we're going to use tonight is a canned peach, because peaches are really not at their height of the season right now. But you can do them with canned peaches, or you can do it with frozen peaches. You can do it with frozen fruits for the mixed berry. You can do it with fresh fruits for the mixed berry. The mixed berry that you're going to do today has a berry medley. This is a Comstock product. We could not find a mixed berry in the food club products that we sell here at the store, so we're using that. It's made by Duncan Hines, and it's a mixed berry, like a compote that we're going to be using tonight. So your first recipe that you have is an easy berry or easy fruit cobbler, isn't it? Yeah. And we're going to go ahead and start with it tonight. And anybody have a favorite cobbler recipe before we get started? What's your favorite kind of cobbler? I know what yours is, because that's the only reason we're doing peach tonight is because of this lady right here, because she came in the middle of the week and says, you better have a peach cobbler. So, anybody else? Do what? Strawberry. Rhubarb. Strawberry rhubarb is one of my favorite things in the whole world. I used to sit on Main Street in Bluff City with a group of ladies, and they always laughed at me because all of them was age 75 and up, and I was 18, and they always wanted to know why I would come and sit with them. and it's because I love history. And they would all talk about things that used to be and things of history, and I would love to sit there and listen to them. So one of the ladies one day, I brought her a big old bunch of rhubarb. The next night, she came out with a half of a rhubarb strawberry pie, and the other half of the pan was filled with ice cream, and I eat the whole thing. And they knew I would. That's why they brought it out there to me. So that is one of my favorites too. You can do any kind of fruit. Apple cobbler, Gala apples make a wonderful apple cobbler because they're sweet already. You don't have to use as much sugar in it, and it's really good. So we're going to start off tonight with our easy fruit cobbler. Now you see your recipe, your ingredients there, and what we're going to do is it says put our butter in an 8-inch square pan. I've got somewhat of an 8-inch square pan. These are some disposable. You can bake these in your oven. We sell these downstairs. They're Chinette, and you can actually put these in your oven and bake with them. They're paper, but they're made out of something scientific that I don't understand that allows you to bake in the oven. So what I've done is I put our pan in the oven already while we were talking, and I've got about 4 tablespoons of butter. And you see, I pulled that out of the oven with my hand, and it's been in there for all that time. They thought I was going to burn myself to death. Don't do that at home. But put 4 tablespoons of butter in there and stick it in your oven while it's preheating. Now, our oven's already preheated, so we need to watch it kind of close. But while it's preheating, you put your butter in there and you allow that to melt. And while that's melting, we're going to take some flour, and I've already done this, flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt. Why would you use sugar and salt at the same time?
It brings out the flavor of the fruit.
Salt makes sugar sweeter. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Salt makes sugar sweeter because it's an intense flavor. So what salt does is open your taste buds up, basically, and allow you to taste other things better. Why do you put salt on French fries? If you're like me, you're a sodium junkie and you eat salt just straight out. I mean, I love salt. But you put salt on food to give it more flavor. And what you're doing is you're bringing out the flavors of those foods already. It's not the salt necessarily that has the flavor, it's the food that you're bringing the flavor out in. So that's why we put salt in with our sugar. When you make fudge, when you make brownies, you put salt in there to intensify the flavors of that. So we put in this bowl, we've whisked together 3 cups of sugar. We whisked together our flour, our baking powder, and our salt. Now we're going to take a little bit of milk, about 3/4 of a cup, and we're going to add it to our batter. Now 3/4 of a cup when it comes to a cobbler batter is give or take. You want a consistency of a loose pancake batter. So we're going to add just a little bit, and you can tell when I whisk it that I made a well in the center. Then I poured my milk into that well, and then I'm going to work on the edge of this and see how it's coming together. And that way I see how thick it's going to get and if I need to add more. And it's getting pretty thick. You see how it rolls? Can you see how it rolls off the dry flour? If you make pasta and you're worried about getting too much flour in your pasta, that's something you do, is that. So we're going to mix it up here really good. This is going to be about right. You want it, like I said, like a loose version of a pancake mix. This is that cup, basically. Okay, you can take it. I found when you do the cup to a cup, a lot of times it might be a little bit loose, a little bit lumpy when you do that. So when we mix this up, if you've got a few little lumps in it, it's going to be okay. The one cobbler batter we're going to do tonight, we're not even going to wet the batter. It's going to be a dry batter. It's from a cake mix. And we're just going to sprinkle that over top of it and use it. So we're going to add, that's the peach cobbler that we're going to do. So we've got this going. I bet our butter's melted. What do you think? Just about, but it will be. It's melted enough. That's why I like those pans. They're thin, and by the time it's right there, they're already cool to touch. So it's a really neat little pan. You can take these and you can leave them wherever you take them to. They're disposable little baking pans, and so you can do that. So what we're going to do, we're going to mix this up, and we're going to pour this in, but we are not going to stir it, okay? You're going to pour it right in the center of your butter. scraping it all down from the top of the bowl. Getting as much of that out as we can. See, I had to make this one first because I gave my other one away, so to make sure we could taste this one. Now you can see how the butter kind of spreads out to the edge. One thing I will do is I will jiggle it just a little bit. A little jiggle, and that is just to get your batter out to the outer edge. You can see how it's kind of going. Let's see here. See how the batter kind of goes out to the edge? But you do not mix your butter up in it. Then the next thing we're going to do is our mixed berries. I love flip-top cans, but this is all right too. This is really good. It's a mix. I believe this is a mix between, it's got blackberries, blueberries, maybe some raspberries in it. And it's really good. It's got a lot of juice in it, but I'm not going to take any of that out. I'm going to leave it just like it is. Then we're just going to take a spoon and we're going to daub it on there. Anybody ever use the term daub? You're going to daub it on there. You're not going to mix it, because what's going to happen is your batter is going to bake up through that butter, and it's going to surround your cobbler or your fruit. You're just going to put it all over there. If you like a lot of fruit, put the whole can. If you like more batter, lay off the fruit. But we're kind of a fruity bunch here tonight, so I'm going to add the whole can. So nobody threw nothing at me. That's a good thing. Then you're going to put it in your oven on a 350-degree oven, and you're going to put it in there for about 45 to 50 minutes. In those little pans like that, they generally cook a little quicker. The smaller your pan is, the more it's going to poof up. If you used a 13 or a 9 by 13 inch pan with this, it would cook really quick. This one right here cooked in about 15 minutes because you're making it thinner. It's a more surface area, and it's going to cook quicker. So you got to really watch it. If you don't have the right size pan that it calls for, you got to really watch it if it's a bigger pan, because it will cook a lot quicker. So we're going to wait for that one to cook. One thing that it called for that I did not put on there is a tablespoon of sugar. Okay, I did put it on that one to show you what it looked like, but I want to show you that you don't have to have, you've already got all that sugar in there. You got the sugar from the fruit, you got the sugar from your batter and all that, and then we put the salt in there and everything, so you really don't need that. What that sugar does is it makes the top of it look a little crunchier and a little bit of a glaze on it.